the 21-year-old can't wait. She's like, I'm so ready to just be able to have freedom to go out and, sit at a bar if I want to with you guys.
Morgan Wallen bar, here we come.
Yes, we do. She's like, I want to visit my aunts and I want to go out with them. It's going to be so fun. And
I love that she still thinks that we're fun because, we're talking about all these big birthdays and we have these rite of passage birthdays, 16, 18, 21. And then on the opposite end of that, I'm heading out of my 40s and I am freaking out for the first time. So it's just this, I definitely feel like it's this, what's that seesaw?
Like they're in that anticipatory phase and you're in the dread phase.
Yeah, like they're in the high, like when you're up on the seesaw and I'm down on the bottom being like, wait, I'm stuck here on the ground. Wait, what am I doing? Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children. We've all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
We've all been through ups and downs that come along with life and have always helped each other through, shared stories, and laughed together.
We welcome all of you into our daily conversations and hope you have some fun with us.
So let's jump in.
Hi all, welcome to Three Little Fishes. Thank you to all who have joined us and are listening and joining us week after week. We're super happy that you found us and that you're jumping in with your day with us. Please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you're listening to your pods. We also, just a friendly reminder, have a website that you can also contact us with and leave us questions or just comment at 3lfpod@gmail.com. All right, let's jump into it. Kathy and I are still up here on Lake of the Woods. This is our final pod from up here, and I hear Kathy clapping by the microphone because she's being attacked by a bug, which will happen when you're out in the woods trying to do a podcast. Which, if you know Kathy at all, she doesn't love bugs, and this is that's not great for her, that bugs are buzzing around her as she's trying. And people can't see you, Kathy, because they're just hearing you. But you are really fancy today for being on Lake of the Woods. You have a very
pretty,
very cute, fancy dress on, and your hair's dolled up. And to our viewers, she brought me a mimosa to start my morning. So
I'm missing out.
It is our last day.
Yeah,
our last
you might
day
as well
here.
celebrate.
I'm loving it. So thank you for my mimosa, and thank you
You're
for
welcome.
getting jujued up for our last send off for the lake.
This is my cabin summer dress because it's a little short. It's a little short, honestly, and it's a little tight. So I'm
showing a little leg, That's how I do it here on the lake.
It stays
Peter
here.
is back.
Oh, Peter's back. And it was just your anniversary yesterday, 24 years. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's unbelievable.
Cute. That was a fun wedding.
It was a fun wedding with the singing dentist. They had Kathy as a dentist, and they found a dentist that sings. Like, who knew? Dentists sing.
It was good. He was good.
So,
he was good. Linda, how's it going there in Nashville?
It's good. We're still, transitioning into real life. I did go see Deadpool and Wolverine the other day. Very good. I mean, if you like that action sort of, comedic, bloody movie, it's very funny. It's very funny and very quippy, just typical Ryan Reynolds. So I thought that was really great. And then I've been calling friends, and we've set up a bunch of dinners with people we haven't seen in a while. And then there's a couple of friends I've talked to have boys that are turning 18, and Jack is turning 18 this week. So we've been talking about how can they be seniors and be 18, and sweet universe. Like, are they going to make it? I mean, we don't know.
I know
That's just a little tiny example of what I mean is Jack's room is upstairs, our son's room is upstairs, and I don't go up there that often. There's no need for me to. The kids are responsible for their own rooms. They have bathrooms. They're responsible for cleaning. But I had to go talk to him about something. I walk into his room. His suitcase is still on the floor, open, with clothes in it from our trip. Then there are clean clothes that I know he did laundry for himself, but they're on his like little couch. And there's stuff like everywhere. It's just like a hot mess in there, which is typical of him. But the other thing I noticed was there's like little white fluffies all over the floor and on his dresser. And he's in the bed and I look at him, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, my comforter has a hole in it. So it's down. Down feathers are everywhere in his room. So I was like, what are you going to do about that? And he's like, I don't know. Don't worry about it, Mom. It's fine. It's no big deal. So then the next day I had to go upstairs to do something for our oldest. And I looked down the hallway. His solution was to take his comforter out of his room and put it in the hallway. Now, how are you going to get through? Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you?
That was the easiest solution.
He no longer has fluffies in his room.
That's right.
Oh, trust me, he did not vacuum up the fluffies.
I mean,
anyway,
it's an interesting
It just
thing.
makes me wonder, like you're 18, you are an adult. I'm using bunny quotes, air quotes. But are you, like, what's wrong with you? You almost killed yourself in Canada eating something that had cashews in it, written clearly on the label. And now you have down feathers everywhere in your room because you didn't fix the hole in your comforter or ask for help. It's troubling.
Yeah.
Thank God he's not in college now because I just don't know. Thankfully, we have another year with him.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because there are a lot of big birthdays this year. Like Kathy's son just turned 16. She has another one that's getting ready to turn 18. And then, her oldest is like heading in that direction too. He's like 20 this year. So like, I think Kathy, you said that you're more anxious, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're more anxious about your 18-year-old than your 16-year-old driving. Is that true?
I think for Carson,
who just turned 16,
I feel bad for him because he's supposed to be getting his permit in Pennsylvania. You can't drive at 16. You get your permit at 16. Then when you're 16 and a half, you can drive. So because we were up here on his birthday, he didn't get his permit. So his time is getting forced to be later. And we're still up here. So the poor kid is going to be like 3 weeks later than his birthday. So that kind of stinks for him. But
does he feel bad about it, or do you feel bad about it?
Well, I think everyone feels bad about it.
Oh, all right.
Because I think
that is a rite of passage. Kids love that independence.
Yeah.
I do think he's anxious to drive, and he's tired of always asking people to take him around. And so he's ready.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm ready, though. Like, he is so smart, and I'm hoping he'll be a good driver. I feel so far my other two have been good drivers. And we're usually the ones that teach them. Or actually, I have more responsibility to teach them just because Peter's gone a lot. But I think that my older two have done well. So I'm sure Carson will be fine. But
yeah.
Do you guys not have to do? Do you not have to do driver's education where you live?
No.
In Pennsylvania?
Well, in Tennessee, you don't, but in Illinois, you did. It was compulsory, but in Tennessee, it is not. So, you know.
And they do have a driving school that I think if you do that, maybe you get like a little break in your insurance. But Trevor and Grayson took like their crash course. It was like, I don't know, I think it was 3 hours that they spent with them, just kind of going over rules and things like that. So they knew everything to prepare them for the test. And Trevor, he made me laugh because he like went for like an hour and he's like, I'm good. And the guy let him take
It all worked out.
exam. And I was like, you didn't even spend the whole time with the guy, like going over stuff. He's like, no, Mom, I didn't need it. I was like, we just paid all this money for you to like take this class, and you didn't even complete it, really.
For our viewers that don't know you, or if not our viewers, for our listeners who don't know you, that is such a classic you thing to say. Like, I mean, that's something that you would have said to Mom and Dad. Like, I got it. Don't worry about me. See ya.
Yeah, Trevor's like, I parallel parked like a boss, Mom. I'm good. I'm like, okay.
I love that. I love the confidence, though, right? Like, that's half the battle. Like, confidence is key, and if you have that, like, you know, you're halfway there. So that's great. But Kathy, you did say though that you are anxious about 18. Why is 18 make you anxious?
Well, because like Linda said, 18 is the legal age, right? And I only have boys, and I feel like 18 is not an adult. Like, I don't know who came up with this, but their brains at 18, I think, are not ready. So it's like you're kind of giving this responsibility, but they still need, I feel like, support.
And they do, for sure. I mean,
I think remember
18 to 25 is such a dangerous age, particularly for boys, because they push the envelope. They're constantly pushing the line. They're constantly, I just, they're more risk takers than the girls are. I'm not being sexist. It just is what it is. I've got two girls and they did not push it the way our son does. And I just hope and pray that everybody makes it to, 21.
So I've heard you say, like with Jack, that you feel like he jumps first and then assesses when he lands.
And then if he makes a mistake, he'll be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just think before we leap instead of leap and then think, I wish you would do it. So I'm constantly saying things like, for instance, last night he went out and he played pickleball. He had like a little double date with a friend and they played pickleball, and that ended up at Sonic Drive-In, which is a big thing down here. The kids hang out at the drive-in, like restaurant, Sonic.
I kind of love that. That's like that old school, like drive-in.
Yeah. Right. So they drive to the drive-in and the food comes into the car and they sit in the car and they chat, and there's picnic tables and stuff out there. So it's very cute. And then they were trying to decide what to do later, but I'm having a conversation with him at like 11 p.m. and he's at the Sonic. What are you doing? Why? Okay, you're going to go someplace else. Stop driving around in the middle of the night. Like, land somewhere.
Kathy, do your boys do that? Because they're like, two of them are, independent driving. Like, do you feel like they jump and then assess the situation?
Sometimes. I mean, Grayson in general likes driving. Like, he just will go out in the evening and take a drive. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, well, I may hit the Wawa and then I may just tool around. Like, they just like, I don't know what they do.
Kathy, can I ask you for people who may not know, what's the Wawa?
Oh, it's like a convenience store restaurant, sort of. Like, it's fast food. And actually,
like again, mini Buc-ee's for people in the South.
Some Wawas are also gas stations. So you kind of like, turn your nose up, like, really, you're getting food at this place? But it actually is pretty decent. They make a lot of like sandwiches. They make chicken tenders, which is what my boys like to get. They say it's the best.
Oh, is it better than
quesadillas?
And quesadillas. They love their buffalo chicken quesadilla. Mom, you can't make it anywhere close to this.
Oh.
Right? I'm like, really? Oh. We spent a fortune at Wawa.
Excellent.
And Chipotle. Chipotle or Wawa is like the two biggest things that my kids eat right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 18 thing isn't real. And I just remember when Grayson turned 18, we had to go to the physician, and he just turned 18 in August, right before school started. And they were like treating me like I wasn't even there, like I was invisible. I was like,
Yeah.
what the H is going on here? Like, but
Yeah.
it's true. So,
Because they consider him an adult, right? So you don't have rights to his
correct.
medical stuff.
After they turn 18, you don't have any rights to know anything.
Right.
I mean, anything about their health, their academics,
Grades,
like even though
nothing.
you're paying for all these things, like
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. So
It
I
is. It's a
remember,
very weird transition for parents. And I think
yeah,
for us, I'm grateful that our kids are open with us and we have good relationships. So they are, but like our middle child had a medical emergency, at the end of school. And
when she was at
I would
college,
not
right?
have known about it.
You're talking about
Yeah.
your daughter who was at college, and she called you, right? Just to give some
And she's like,
background.
I'm going to the emergency room. Yeah. So, it is like you need to do those legal papers, to help you so you can be notified if something happens. But
yeah,
it's like a very emotional thing to let go, which you want to do and they want to do, but you legally have no rights as a parent anymore when they turn 18. And it is
right.
very strange.
Well, I'm grateful to my neighbor, Tammy, because they're both lawyers, and I was kind of complaining about it, and I was like, I knew we needed to get some form going, but I wasn't sure like where to get it. And she recommended that I get this Mama Bear legal form. You can get it online. You don't have to have an attorney like drafted. It's already drafted for you, and it's a medical power of attorney, personal power of attorney, a HIPAA, and it's a reasonable cost. I think it's $79 for like a young adult package.
Yeah.
And you get all these documents signed. They do have to be notarized. So I remember we were like in August when this happened with Grayson, I was like, oh my gosh, we have got to get our act together. So,
because you were freaking out, because especially since he was going to Texas, like he wasn't going to school anywhere next to you. So you were like, I'm sending my child to school and I have no access, right?
correct. They have to be notarized. And I was begging my neighbor to help us because I'm like, who's going to notarize this? We have to have a witness. It's kind of a big thing. But now we have them in place. And I think our insurance company didn't like they wanted another form signed specifically for our insurance. So it is kind of a couple hoops you have to jump through. But now,
it's worth it.
But now we have access in case something happens to him. So now I'm going to have to deal with this with Trevor.
Right.
Because he'll be 18 in December.
Yeah.
And so we'll have to get him on board. And then I remember when I sent Grayson to school and we did that intake, we went there and did the orientation, and they were talking about how we don't have any rights again. And I was just like, it makes you feel bad. You're like, here you've like raised this kid and you're like, you know what I mean? And then you get somewhere and they're like, yeah, you don't have any rights to anything. But they did have like a form there at school that he could check that we have access to like his academic records. I'm like, yeah, Grayson, we need to be able to see these. He's like, I know, Mom. And he didn't really give us any pushback, so I'm happy.
I can imagine that it's a difficult journey. Like, what you want them to gain independence, you want them to become an adult, and I can appreciate that it's a difficult transition to, when do they get full? Like, yeah, you're right. You're an adult. You're on your own. You're doing this. You're making decisions about what you're going to do with your life, your personal life. And at some point, they're going to be like, I'm good. I don't need you. Like, Trevor, I'm excellent. Don't worry. Peace out.
Trevor will probably be my worst kid going to college. He'll be like, hi, Mom. He probably won't even hug me. I'll be like, out the door.
Well, Rich and I were out. Jack, our youngest, works at a restaurant, and we went to this restaurant the other day for lunch. And he came over and chatted with us. And I was sitting there and I looked at him, my husband, and I said, this is our last year with him. And it's real because when we sent the girls away, everybody comes back, but they're visitors now. They're really just visiting us. They don't live with us anymore. And if you talk to them, that's how they feel too. They have their own life now. And so I just said, let's just try and have fun with him this year because it's our last one. It's our last year with him because soon he'll just be visiting. And it is this strange transition. Our girls, I have somebody who's turning 21 in a month and somebody who's turning 20. And the 21-year-old can't wait. She's like, I'm so ready to just be able to have freedom to go out and, sit at a bar if I want to with you guys. Sometimes we'll go downtown and people won't let her sit at the bar and eat because she's
Mork and Wallen bar. Here we come.
Yes, we do. She's like, I want to visit my aunts and I want to go out with them. It's going to be so fun. And, she's just ready for that next phase of life. And she's ready for it.
I love that she still thinks that we're fun because, we're talking about all these big birthdays and we have these rite of passage birthdays, 16, 18, 21. And then on the opposite end of that, I'm heading out of my 40s and I am freaking out for the first time. So it's just this, I definitely feel like it's this, what's that seesaw, right? I feel like, these kids are
they're
high.
in that anticipatory phase and you're in the dread phase.
Yeah, they're in the high, when you're up on the seesaw and I'm down on the bottom being like, wait, I'm stuck here on the ground. Wait, what am I doing? It's just this, it's an interesting thing. It's when I turned 40, I felt amazing. I thought 40 was great. I was pregnant. She was this miracle baby that I was having. And I was like, I feel fantastic. I don't know why people get upset about 40, but now this is the first birthday heading into out of my 40s that I'm just like, oh, I don't know how I feel. How did you feel with your big birthdays? Linda, I think that you didn't love 40 either, or you did like 40. Did you like 40?
So I loved 40 because I had a baby at the house. So Jack, I had him at 39. So I loved 40. 50 was rough for me. I think I was in the hospital. I had female problems and I was a hot mess. And I just felt like my body is betraying me. And my vessel was not doing well. And
your vessel was saying,
not doing well.
Yeah. Your vessel was like, no, I'm done.
You, Lynn, you suck. So I thought 50 to me is great because you are in this sort of better phase with older kids and it's easier and all that stuff. But it definitely is physically an adjustment. It has been for me.
It's interesting what you're saying about your body betraying you because I had to have a hysterectomy last year and I felt the same way. And it was a lot of years that I was having problems. And it's interesting. The more you talk to other women about it, it's kind of like you're not that unusual. It's not that happens. This is just kind of part of getting older. And then once that's fixed, hopefully you feel great again, which is what I'm hoping for. And it's just kind of you get your mental right with your spirit. Kathy, how did you feel about turning 40? Did you love it or was it hard?
For me, turning 40 was super hard because I had my youngest, Carson. He was like a baby. I think he was just almost one. But I actually had a miscarriage when I was 40 because I wanted to have another baby. And that was really hard for me because the doctor was like, I just don't think this is going to happen. I've had several miscarriages, but that one was the worst. So I was just kind of like, turning 40 sucks.
Yeah.
Am I really getting that old? I can't even have a baby.
Yeah.
So.
And I think losses are so hard in general. We have so much when you're physically also dealing with it emotionally and physically. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. How did you feel turning 50? Was it better?
I actually thought turning 50 was okay. I wasn't like, woohoo, I'm 50, but I wasn't as I think distraught as when I turned 40.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting ready to turn 55, and I'm like, I guess I'm okay, but I'm just like, I think turning 50 though, I'm noticing for myself, like things are just changing. Like your body is just not the same.
Yeah.
Like I feel I do work out, but I feel like I have to work out even more just to maintain so I don't gain weight. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I've gained weight and it's like I'm not doing anything differently. You know what I mean? And so it's like
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I have to cut out stuff now and work even hard. I just think the whole thing stinks.
I have a hard time cutting things out. I think that I'm going to just end up with lots of rolls. Sorry, Tim. But gets
I mean,
more to love.
I mean, aging is hard.
Yeah.
I
Aging is
just,
hard. Yeah.
This kind of brings up for like maybe next week because we've been talking a lot about this. Like, so we just talked about like the younger and then as we're heading into older. So, thoughts on 50. Like, is it a midlife crisis or is it pure joy? Like, what is all these things that they bring you on the back end of like as you cross over to leaving your 40s to go to your 50s? I would love to hear some of our listeners. Like, what are your
Me
thoughts
too.
on,
yeah.
aging and moving into your 50s? Like, is it a
Mhm.
midlife crisis? I feel like I'm having a little bit of one, and I feel like we can maybe flush that out a little bit next week with
Mhm.
our friends.
Mhm.
But we'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. And you can email them to us at 3lfpod@gmail.com. We would love to
Yes,
hear
let's
it
hear.
as we
Yeah.
continue this conversation on to next week.
Yeah. That certain ages, it can be rough.
So I'm sorry I keep like moving my hands, but I have a gnat. I have a gnat out here. It keeps bothering me.
Well, we are in the woods,
The
and
great
it's
outdoors is,
It comes in. Yeah.
hello bugs.
the
Um,
bugs. Yeah.
yeah, Yeah, the bugs. So because we're still out in the woods, for us, what's for dinner is we are going to end our week with fresh cut walleye. And I think we're going to end up grilling it with some butter and some lemon and just have a yummy walleye dinner with. And Kathy is really good at, I did not know this about her, but y'all like those. You remember the Steak and Shake is big in the Midwest, but they have the
Mhm.
really skinny shoestring fries. Kathy can make shoestring fries that are so delicious. So I think we're going to have like
Mm.
healthy grilled fish with
With
fried.
French
Fried
fries.
fried fries.
That sounds good.
I'm not sure
I
what
wish I
that
was
says about
there.
me. I could work at McDonald's.
Hey, listen, I love those McDonald's fries. They're so delicious.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. That sounds like a really good last meal.
I don't think
You
we have
girls
vegetables
enjoy.
left on at the cabin, so I'm not sure there'll be anything green, but we'll
I'm
see.
sure
We'll
mom
see
has
what.
like a canned pea.
We actually are slim pickings here. Not that we're starving by any means, but
Yeah.
you
We
know.
also we're not starving. We have all the things that are not good for us that I'm like leaning into
Yeah.
hard.
That's okay. It's the last day. Then you'll get back on track in a day, two
Yeah,
days.
that's right.
Yeah. When you get back.
All
Well,
right.
I will report in next week about how we celebrated Jack's 18th. We have no idea what we're doing because I have a feeling I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. He's like, I don't know if I want to go out on my birthday. I might want to be with my friends. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Well, that's okay. You guys could do something a different night or something.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I
But
know I might have to
18, here we
circle back
come.
with Carson for his 16th since we're up here and have maybe a little party with his friends or something. I don't know.
With a pinata.
I will say my daughter was very sad that you usually bring up a piñata up on the lake, and she looks forward to it every year. So she was very disappointed that there was no piñata.
I know. I kind of messed up this year. I don't know.
That puppy threw you into a tailspin.
I think it was the puppy. I'm blaming it on the puppy.
You have puppy brain.
Yep, I have a puppy bubble brain. I forgot my son's pinata.
Oh boy.
Next year, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll maybe get a lacrosse pinata if I can find one.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. We want your feedback. Please enjoy your summer weekends. They're coming to an end. We say out from Lake of the Woods and Nashville. Sisters out.